just wanted to get together with you for just a moment because we have just finished the recordings for the conference, the Call to Learn conference. And I just wanted to tell you some of the insights that I've had. They're actually quite amazing. Some of the things that I've learned is like the metaphors. One of the presenters talked about the metaphors as he was writing a book. And he says, a book isn't just trying to find the gems or trying to find the diamond in the coal mine or trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's not like that at all. It's like finding a whole acre of diamonds and beautiful, gorgeous rubies and all of these shimmering, shiny ones, and you're gathering them all together, and you have to decide which ones to leave out and which ones to put back. And it's really hard to decide. I really like that analogy. Another one I learned, a metaphor, is he talked about knowledge. He goes, knowledge is like an island in the ocean of ignorance. And as the island continues to grow bigger and bigger and your knowledge becomes more and more, but so do the shorelines around that. The shorelines get bigger too. In other words, you could say the cliche way of saying it, the more I know, the more I don't know, right? But I love that analogy about the island and about growing and the shorelines growing that are touching the ocean of ignorance. So that's a cool one. And other ones is the stories. One lady told us a story about her daughter and how she got a paper route. She was so excited. She was so excited for the money. But the paper route had to be done on Sunday. And her mom said, well, what does God tell you? Well, she says, I'm just going to try it for one time. Well, she woke up really early. She did it for the week. And she woke up really early on Sunday. And she got dressed and ready to go and went out to do it. And it was a bitter cold day. And as she was out there freezing, she just couldn't go on anymore. She was a skinny girl with really lots of sicknesses. And she sat down on the curb next to a church. And she sat there freezing and she heard this voice, do you trust me? And she said, and she was just cold. And she was just shivering. She goes, yes, I do. Then stand up and go home now. And that told her to trust God more, right? She realized that she really does trust God and that she needs to show him by keeping the Sabbath day holy. That story really touched me. I love the Sabbath day and I love learning how to keep it more holy. And that girl taught me something, but also the words. The words were what I needed that moment at that time in my life. She looked at me right in my eyes and she said, Tresta, do you trust God? And I teared up because I do trust God, but I needed to know that I trusted God at that moment. These are the kinds of things that I've learned during this conference. There's so many more. There's a story, funny stories we've learned about. One lady said that she couldn't wait to go out with this guy because he was so handsome, and she finally got to go out with him, and she went out with him several times. And one time she was just talking and telling a story, and he reached over and he touched her hand, and she just lost it. She just couldn't remember anything anymore. And she ended up marrying him, and she says, we still, 20 years later, still tease about that. I can touch your hand and get you to stop talking. So just funny stories. We have funny stories, we have serious stories, crying stories. There's lots of different ideas that were shared. We asked all of the presenters basically the same questions. And one of the questions we asked them is, how do you celebrate your successes? Instead of just going, oh, here we are, and getting to the very top and then going, oh, what's next? Stop for a minute and celebrate what you have accomplished. Many of us don't do this. Our society doesn't do this. So we asked our presenters, and one of the presenters said, we draw a very large trophy on the wall with paper, just in, dashes in black and white. And every time one of our children or we reach a goal that we have been wanting to reach, we get to color in the trophy. And every day they're coloring in the trophy. And when we're all done with the trophy, the whole family gets to go out to dinner and celebrate. Isn't that cool? Instead of saying, let's go out to dinner every time we have accomplished a goal, right? But they get to a little bit at a time and earning it, and they can see their successes on the wall. It was so exciting to me to hear that. Another one, the same presenter said, how about we go and celebrate the Snoopy dance. So every time we have a celebration or reaching a goal in our family, we turn on the Snoopy dance music, and everybody comes into the kitchen and they do the Snoopy dance. I'm like, that is so cool. It's such a great way to celebrate, even if it's just for 1 minute, right? How important it is that we need to celebrate. Oh, interestingly, I also learned things that I have believed about myself. Like, I believe that I've been stupid for most of my life. And I'm just getting to the point of that. But I realized that that has been stopping me from reaching my big goals. So I chose to let go of that belief that I'm not smart, that I am learning and growing. I'm developing my island as it's getting bigger and bigger, right? And I can talk with the greatest of minds because of my confidence, not because of my stupidity, like I used to believe. I also learned the difference between liberal arts and servile arts. I didn't know that there was a big, huge difference. I learned some of the warning signs of the future education. Now, we had one lady come in and she was just so excited about what's happening and what we can do to fortify our families against what the not just the government, but what other bigger names and bigger companies are doing to bringing in the education. Not the kind of education we want. We want a gospel-centered education. We want to be taught by those that love God. We want to be taught by those that know the Book of Mormon inside and out. And how can we find more of those teachers? In fact, I'm just going to shout out right now, we want more teachers that know the gospel of Jesus Christ. And please come and share it with us. Share it with the world. I also learned how to organize my learning, how to organize it better than what I'm doing, and how to say, oh, that's right. One of our producers, Dave, he talks about how, he doesn't have any children. And he's like, but I learned so much from this conference, from all of these interviews. Is what I learned the most is that I need to keep learning. I need to organize my learning and keep going. And there's so much more out there to learn. And I'm like, great, that's a great takeaway. Keep it up, right? I also learned the Hebrew words. We talked about the Hebrew versus the Greek education and how the Greeks do it versus how the Hebrews do it, and how important it is to know the difference, to recognize the difference. And then I also learned the Hebrew words. I'm a Hebrew freak, right? I love to know the meanings behind the Hebrew and the symbolisms in that. And so Donna taught us about the Greek words, or the Hebrew word for the word rod. Go and look at that. It's really important. There's also messages about homeschooling, but we learn literally deep messages about how to connect with our children, how to be better at being parents, how to be present, and how to discipline them and how to get them to understand your role as teacher, and then to take up that role as teacher. And then we also learned things about how to spiritually develop ourselves and to know what is truth from error and how to recognize that for ourselves. Brothers and sisters, this has been an amazing journey for me, and these were just a few of my takeaways. I invite you to come and learn with me. Take upon your call to learn and join me in this conference.